If you find yourself attaching too fast to a guy when you are first meeting him, then you are either attaching to his potential or the potential of who you would like him to become, meaning like become maybe your husband's or boyfriend, something like that. Or you are attaching to his representative, meaning you're not attaching to who he really is. You're attaching to what he is portraying in the beginning. And so if you find yourself attaching too fast to any man, more than likely you have an anxious attachment, and your anxious attachment is already activated before you even get with a man, before you even go on a date with a man. More than likely because you are very attached to just having someone, or you are attached to the idea of being married or having love or having a man. You are in desperate need of that. And when you are in desperate need of that, you're going to attach too quickly to every man you meet, because you are thinking in your head that this could possibly be the one to every man you date. And then when he's not the one, or he ends up breaking your heart, or you end up finding out he's not really who you thought he was, you're heartbroken and you're sad and you just want to give up on dating. But you don't have to give up on dating. You should try detached dating. So, quick story time before I get into the deep shit of this episode. I remember I cried my eyes out over this man that I only talked to for a few weeks when he decided he didn't want to talk to me anymore. I mean, I left work early. I had to, because he had told me while I was at work. He texted me and said, I want to talk to you after work. And I was just like, no, I need to know now. And I remember he just basically flat out told me he thought it was a good idea, but didn't talk anymore. And we had talked every day, twice a day for about a month, but we had only gone out on one date. And I just remember seeing that text at work and just getting so pissed and disappointed and maybe even a little bit heartbroken. But I left work, went to the liquor store, went home, cried it out. And then now looking back on that incident, that was years ago. But looking back, I am realizing that what I was crying over was because I no longer had the potential to be married to him or be with him like that. And I already had it in my head upon meeting him and having just a few conversations with him that he was the one. And I say it with such disdain now because I'm just like, oh God, Kendall, what were you on? But I had got attached to him so quickly because I was really attached to the outcome. I was attached to what I really hoped we could be and could become. I was attached to the potential of that and the potential of him. And so I just got so disappointed and heartbroken after that. And that was the reason why. It wasn't really because of who he was looking back, because to be honest, I barely knew anything about him. We talked a lot, but it was like never really about anything of substance, really. And back then, I didn't realize that that's what was going on, that we're not having any substantial conversations. And so I just hung on to the fact that he's giving me attention. I like talking to him. I'm attracted to him, you know. And then I should have known something when that second date never came, after a whole month. And I knew in my head that something was off, but I was still hanging on to that attachment, to that potential that I had. And so, ladies, when you date like this, it makes dating so much more harder. It makes it harder on you. It's just not good for you. And I feel like that if you have a hard time meeting the one dating that way, because something else that I'm just going to be real flat out honest with you ladies about is that even a good man of substance is not going to really take a woman serious if she is attaching to him too fast. If she seems already too clingy, like she needs him to pick her and to choose her. And sometimes we can give off that energy and not even realize it. And we just become this anxious person, like, you know, it's a fine line between wanting a man that is consistent and also crossing over that line to where it is now into obsession, into where you need to be chosen by him, you need his attention, and he has to pick you. There is a fine line between that, and I need you to stay on the other side and not get too caught up in that. And I feel like even good men will pass up a woman on that, because they're like, they don't, no man wants that. Just flat out honest. Who and would you? And think about you, ladies. Would you, if it was you on the other end, and I'm sure there's been a guy that's been all like coming on strong to you that you just didn't like that, but yet he was adamant and trying to almost force you to pick him, and was just crossing boundaries and wanted all your time, and you didn't like him like that, and he was moving way too fast. I'm sure a man has made you feel like that. Nobody wants to feel like that. That's not an organic connection relationship. So, detached dating. What is it? Here's what it is. So, I'm just gonna basically give you the definition that I found online. A quick Google search will tell you that it says detached dating is a mindset and lifestyle choice that involves being intentionally unattached from relationships while still showing interest and attraction. And then that's okay. But then it goes on to the examples. It says it can involve playing games, guessing what the other person is thinking or feeling, avoiding conflict, avoiding subjects that might lead to disagreement, not getting close, avoiding getting close to people in order to avoid getting hurt. And it also goes on to say that detached dating can be a way to navigate feelings and explore oneself. It can also help people gain perspective and put themselves back in control of their lives. However, it can also lead to excessive detachment, which can be indicated by feeling indifferent towards the other person's feelings or the relationship's outcomes. Healthy detachment should still allow for empathy, connection, and a desire for mutual happiness. So, that's what it is in a nutshell. But I'm going to break it down for you. Basically, it's you not attaching too fast to someone. Basically. And you shouldn't. You should not be so involved and attached with someone if, you are still just getting to know them. Especially within the first few weeks. But I'm going to tell you something else. If you find yourself getting attached, I know sometimes some men in the beginning will try to get you emotionally attached. And they'll tell you like some type of sob story or something about their past or something about some exes that hurt them. Or they'll tell you some sob story about their life and just try to get you like emotionally attached to where you're like, oh, I'm never going to hurt you like that. Or, oh, oh, you're being so open with me. Oh, he's so emotionally available. They want you to feel like that. They want to give the illusion or elude that they are really in tune with their feelings and that they're a good guy, but they're really tricking you. They're trying to get you emotionally attached quickly so they can get anything they want from you. So I need you to instead reverse that shit. Reverse it and decide for yourself like, if he is this caught up in the past, is he able to show up for me like I need in the relationship? And you can even mention it to him. It sounds like you still have some attachments to your ex. Maybe you're not ready or prepared for a relationship. Reverse that shit on him. And by you reversing it back on him, you are clearly showing that you aren't for the games. You're not falling for that. You're not here to get emotionally attached before he even deserves that, before he's even demonstrated that he is a man that can securely hold you if you attach to him. So in doing that and being more observant in the beginning and learning how these men can sometimes play games, because I had the games played on me. That story I told you about that guy, he gave me a sob story about his ex in the past. I was kind of keen on it, but not really. It's like my mind knew not to continue to talk to this man, but my heart was saying maybe, I had it in here thinking that maybe it could really be something. Maybe it's not what I think it is, but it was the whole time. And he gave me a sob story about his ex and stuff and told me all this sad stuff. And I was just like, oh. And then, y'all, I almost forgot this part. I told him about an ex and how I did a lot for this man and how my ex was in jail. I was trying to find a nice, pretty way to say that. But my ex was in jail. He went to jail while I was in a relationship with him, and I stuck by him. That's another story that's going to be actually in Toxic X Chronicles Sebastian, the second book. So I don't want to give too much away. But anyway, I told him how I would drive at least once a month. Like, I think that drive was about 5 hours there and 5 hours back to go see him in prison. I would do it at least once a month. And so this guy, the new guy that I was talking to, had the audacity to ask me, would you do that for another guy, for a new guy? And that did kind of rub me the wrong way because I'm like, why? What? But yeah, I don't even remember what my response was. I think I was like, no, because this in the past and whatnot. I'm not like that. And so I can just kind of tell that he was still probably hurt from his ex, and all about a woman just proving herself because he was afraid of getting hurt again, and I wasn't for that. And he called it off, and I'm actually glad he did, because if he wouldn't have, I would be probably in a third toxic ass relationship. So I want to get into what detached dating actually is so that you can wrap your head around it a bit more and be able to practice it more. So, attached dating is essentially the definition I told you. It's a mindset and lifestyle choice that involves being intentionally unattached from relationships while still showing interest and attraction. So, you take that and to mean that you are basically intentionally not getting attached to any man that you meet right off the bat, and you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be anyway. You don't know him like that. I don't care what he says. I don't care how he says you are the one and you're so different from everyone else. I don't care what kind of lines he feeds you to make you feel good about yourself. You still take your time and you still remain unattached. And I think sometimes that's how we can get attached so quickly, especially if that man is attractive and comes in saying all the right things that we've always wanted to hear. So you have to let that go in one ear and out the other, or see it for what it is. It's love bombing. It's manipulation. Don't fall for that. And even if it is genuine, let's say if maybe it is genuine, because sometimes men can come on a little strong, but they have good intentions. Let's just say that's a case, you still take your time because this is your dating experience as well. You don't have to rush just because he is excited. You have to allow him to give you time for your feelings to catch up. You take your time still. You have your boundaries still. And if he respects that, then okay, he may have good intentions. But if he loses interest or gets upset at you or lashes out at you, anything like that, then that means he has bad intentions and you need to run. So how do you detach when dating and not get so excited over a man and not attached to the outcome? For me, it was simple. I got tired of being hurt, attaching too soon. And I want you to look at it as that if you do not detach, if you get too close too soon, it could potentially hurt you. And look at it as a way of you protecting yourself and you protecting your heart, you protecting your mind. Some women I see feel like they shouldn't be so protective over their heart, or they shouldn't have a guard up. But I feel like in the beginning, you should have a little bit of a guard up. You should be a little bit, kind of taking it back. Not taking it back. You should be taking a step back and not being so forward with it. And it also gives that room for that man to actually pursue you if he's going to do that. And I want you to also consider this. Like, if you've ever had your heart broken from getting attached too fast, and now you feel like that you are a little jaded about love, use it to your superpower. Use it as a superpower. Take that and realize that, okay, this means that I am going to take my time. That means that I know I can't expect every man to be the one. I can't expect the man that's being nice to me in the beginning and showing me attention to automatically be a good candidate to be with me. You have to look at all of that as a sign like, okay, that means I need to take my damn time. Consider it as you having high standards, but low to zero expectations. That means that you have high standards and you have your needs, your non-negotiables, and what you want in a man, but you have a low expectation that every man you meet is going to fit those qualifications. So that means you're not getting overly excited no matter what he's demonstrating in the beginning, because men can lie in the beginning. Men don't always tell the truth in the beginning. And you need time to decide and to observe and see if this is something of substance that I would want to continue to get involved with. Look at it as like you protecting yourself and that you're important. You're more important than just having some man just so you cannot be lonely, just so you can have a relationship. Look at yourself as like you're protecting yourself and almost like protecting your inner child. Like you have to make sure that you remain safe. And also, don't hurt your own heart. Don't break your own heart, because it is so hard to get your hopes up from someone so quickly, because you're attaching so quickly in the beginning, just for it to all end and it not be nothing. But to be honest, maybe you need that to happen for you to finally decide that I need to be more detached when I date. So if you've ever had that happen to you, if you ever found yourself getting too excited over a man, I need you to play back in your head how that all went down. How did you feel during that time? What made you so disappointed, so hurt, so heartbroken? What was the thing that really brought you down in that? And once you process that and remember it, then I feel like you will have a better chance of being more detached with dating. Just like how in the beginning of this podcast, I told you my story and how looking back, I realized that I wasn't really crying over him. I was crying over the potential of what we could have been and what I was hoping we would be. You see what I'm saying? So I need you to go back on any relationship, or not a relationship, even someone that you talked to and you were hoping it would be a relationship or something. Go back and think about that scenario and that relationship, and think about what caused you to get attached so fast, and also think about how it all played out and process that. Process what it really was that had you so attached to him. What it really was that, not only had you so attached to him, but had you so disappointed and so hurt when it all ended, especially if it was like a quick, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and you're really sad about it. I'm not here to shame anyone from getting sad about that. I've actually coached some women that went through that, and they're coming to me like, we were only talked for 3 weeks, but I was just so hurt by it. And then, we go through everything, and I realized that, they were attaching too fast. And then we work around that and how to not do that again. And not only that, we process your emotions. So it's so important to process that, not shame yourself from it. I shouldn't have gotten attached so fast anyway, or I shouldn't, it was 3 weeks, so what's the big deal? No. If you're feeling it, I need you to process it so it won't happen again. And that's really essentially how you do detached dating, in my eyes. If you always get attached too quickly, look at what it did and process that. And another tip that can work to help you detach when dating is to always have a life going for yourself. This is where you learn to center yourself. And I need you to always center yourself, even when you get with a man, even when you get married. And before you get with anyone, it's like you're setting up your life for you. And so that man can come in and fit in where he can basically get in, meaning that you're not rearranging your whole life for a man. You're still centering yourself, and he's coming in also, and he's going along with it. And like, okay, this is who she is. And he's accepting it. And instead of you, suddenly switching up and then learning how to center yourself once you get with him, and then he's thinking he has a different woman. I know you need to be doing it from the beginning, because a lot of times women will say that when they get in relationships, they find that they're, happier, that they're doing more for themselves, that they just feel different once they get with a man. And I feel like the reason being is because you are not doing this stuff on your own, in your own life. You're not getting yourself flowers. You're not treating yourself to dinner. You're not putting on makeup and getting dressed up unless you are going to date a man. You're not doing anything for yourself. You're not centering yourself. You're centering a man, having a man, being in a romantic relationship. You're making that the center of your universe, and it's revolving around that and you having that. So that's what you're attaching to. Like I said, you're going to naturally attach to any man you meet. So what you do is, if you are not lonely, if you are alone right now, and if you even start to feel lonely, usually you feel lonely because you are self-abandoning yourself, or you have this idea about what it means to be single, and you think it means something bad or something that's wrong with you, or that you are behind because you're not married yet. I need you to change your mindset around what singleness means. And also look at your past and your history and what you've been through and what you've had to grow through. Like, you can't compare your journey to any other woman's, period. So process that and change your mindset around that. There's nothing wrong with you being single still. It's actually meaning that you just have standards, and you're not going to settle for just any damn man. And while you are waiting for the man of your dreams, if you will, I need you to become the woman of your dreams. I need you to cultivate a life full of happiness and full of you. I need you to prioritize yourself. Think about yourself. Care about yourself. Self-care is not just you having a spa day or putting on makeup or, doing a skincare routine or a bubble bath. Those are all nice things. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, take care of yourself in ways that you are doing what is necessary for your livelihood and for you. It's you really caring and giving a damn about yourself. And it's you doing the necessary things that you need in order to elevate your life. Like, maybe you can work on your discipline. Maybe you can work on, having a better routine. Maybe there is something within yourself that you can take care of and work on. So I need you to get with the program with you and just be all about you. Stop becoming so obsessed with having a man and being with a man, and realize that in being so obsessed with a man is a guaranteed way to get your heart broken. You have to look at it that way. It's not saying that you don't ever want a man and you don't want to ever have a great connection and have a connection where you can be vulnerable and free with him and free to express yourself and all your emotions and feelings and have like that real close knit bond. That's a beautiful thing to have. But I need you to understand that you're not going to get to that point if you are wrapped around having a man and being obsessed with a man. I guarantee you, you're not. You're going to get all the men that don't respect women, that just want you to be all about them, and they're going to disrespect you. So I need you to understand that you can still get a man, even if you are all about yourself, even if you are just living a life for you and not thinking about a man, even if you are centering yourself, you can still be with a man. You can still have a man. Detached dating doesn't mean that you are detached from love or detached from romantic relationships, anything like that. It means that you are detached from the bullshit. I mean, seriously, that just came to me. You are detached from the bullshit. You are detached from being heartbroken. You are detached from a man letting you down. You are detached from that shit. You're not trying to fall too fast. Fall slowly. And actually, you're not even really falling in love. You are growing in love with someone. Because think about it. Think about every single other time you've ever fallen in love with a man. It's probably been really heavy and strong, and it's probably happened very quickly to only just go further and further down, because the exciting part was at the beginning. And so now you had nowhere else to go but down. And now it's not so exciting anymore because you fell in love. And now you feel like you're stuck in love. But when you take your time and you're detached in the beginning, you have the ability to grow in love with a man. Meaning, like, you can ascend in love with a man. You have the ability for it to go higher and higher and higher. You know how women say that, they are still in love with their man years later. They fall in love with their man more every day. That's because they took their damn time in the beginning, probably, and they are growing in love. I feel like that with my husband. We've been together for, I think, going on 10 years now. I feel like I love him more every day. It's seriously, every day. I love him more and more. And it's just because I feel like we are always growing in love, and it's just getting better and better and better. So if you are detached in the beginning, think about it, how that's giving you room for it to grow. That's really wrapped up in a nutshell what it is and what it can benefit you and how it can work for you. And one last thing I want to say. ladies, I know getting rid of the anxious attachment is difficult because even if a man has good intentions, you may still be anxious. I get it. So here's a little trick that can work that worked for me. Even if you are anxious with a man, don't show it. You know, don't, how can I say this? Don't show it, and also don't lean into it, I would say. Maybe what can help if you come home and either write down the things you like about him, the things you notice about him, the things you don't like, the things that you are in questioning about, the things you need to further observe about him. Every time you have an interaction with him or talk to him or go on a date with him, either think about it in your mind, because I'm a mind person. I would just go over my head about them and then write it out. Just like with the example I gave you about the man, like I knew in my head that it probably wasn't going to go anywhere, but in my heart I was hoping it would. And I never got so attached to him to where I cried over what I thought it would be, not over him, because I didn't get attached to him. I was not emotionally attached to him. I felt like that he wanted to get me in bed early on, because he invited me to his house, and I declined that because we hadn't even went on the first date yet. It was leading up to the first date. He's like, you can just come here. No, I'm not doing that. And so it's like, yeah, a part of me knew the rules and what to do, but also a part of me was like, but I still got that anxious attachment. I'm still hoping that this could be it. So it's like you almost are like, you are an anxious person, so you have to think logically in some things, even though your heart is still anxious. You get what I'm saying? So you may not be able to get rid of it totally, but it can help if you date better quality men that don't make you anxious. And also, not only that, if it's just you, just write down the things that you're not going to go for, and the things that you are looking for, and then compare it to that list and see where he falls. And if he is inviting you to his place early on and you don't feel comfortable with that, look at your list and realize, okay, yeah, my anxious self says, okay, I want him to like me, maybe I should go. But your logical self says, that's on my list that I'm not comfortable with doing, so I'm not going to do it. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you gotta use that mind and let it overpower your heart and your anxiousness. Okay, so I hope that helps. That's all I got for this podcast episode, girlfriends. As always, you can find my coaching, my books, everything, link in bio at I'veBeenThatGirl.net. Toxic X Chronicles Sebastian. It's supposed to come next month. I said that. I'm working on it, and I'm going to see if I get it done in time. It might be next year spring, but I'm getting in the groove of things and being more disciplined to work on it. But yeah, that's all I got, girlfriends. Peace out.
Excuse me, can I please talk to you for a minute?